departments of education, all the education stakeholders, hayi ungakhathazeki la kuphilwa khona yonke impilo ikhona. Fellow South Africans, it is indeed my honor and privilege to address this important basic education sector, Lekgotla. Kunemfuyo yakho engihluphayo la. Hayi sihambile. Iyangibingelela. We declared education an apex priority of the democratic government in 2009. Education is a ladder out of poverty and economic stagnation. It is our primary weapon in the struggle for economic transformation and in the quest for a better life for our people, especially the poor. It is for this reason that education gets the biggest slice of our national budget. That is also the reason why this gathering is so important for the country. You have all come together because you care about education and care about the well-being of our children and youth. As stakeholders, you are called upon to share your ideas and dedicate all your time and brain power at this Lekgotla in the interest of strengthening and improving the country's education system. We will always prioritize the education of our children because it is only through quality education that we can win our struggle against unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Our country's constitution enjoins us to provide quality and compulsory basic education to all South Africans, irrespective of race, color, creed, religion, sexual orientation, gender, identity, age, and disability. We remain committed to meet this constitutional directive. As we converge here today, we also remember with fondness the finest son of the soil, the late ANC president and one of the key architects of our freedom and democracy, Ubaba Oliver Reginald Tambo. Had he lived, he would have turned 100 years old this year. And this year marks his centenary. We have thus decided to dedicate this year's basic education sector, Lekgotla, to Oliver Reginald Tambo. President Oliver Tambo is celebrated for his exceptional leadership qualities and for providing direction during the darkest years of the struggle for our liberation. Importantly, President Tambo was also a teacher. He graduated with a BSc degree in mathematics and physics from Fort Hare University. He then enrolled for a diploma in higher education, although he could not complete it after he was expelled from for his political activism. He taught physics and mathematics for 5 years. Later on, he completed his postgraduate degree in law and went to open the first black-owned legal practice in Johannesburg with his friend and fellow comrade, President Nelson Mandela, the first president of a free and democratic South Africa. President O.R. Tambo was indeed, for the better part of his adult life, an embodiment of all that was good and noble about the teaching profession and leadership. He was also the chief custodian of the principles of fundamental social change. This makes him the perfect role model for all educators in our country. They should study his life for inspiration. We thus encourage all our teachers to honor, protect, and advance the legacy of this outstanding educator, President Oliver Tambo. Compatriots, as you meet today, it is against the background of good progress that has been made in education in the past 22 years. We have made progress towards universal suffrage of school-going children. We have made progress in the introduction of early childhood development. We have progressively worked towards eliminating mud schools and inappropriate school structures, replacing them with state-of-the-art buildings, especially in historically neglected areas. The Accelerated School Infrastructure Delivery Initiative project, through which we eradicated the mud schools, has gathered momentum over the years. Government has now completed over 135 new state-of-the-art schools in the Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and other provinces. We have also provided dignified sanitation, water, and electricity to hundreds more schools. To fight hunger and poverty in schools, we have expanded the school nutrition programs or feeding schemes in both primary and secondary schools. The nutrition program now reaches over 9 million children every school day who are given food free of charge to improve concentration and productivity. We have also expanded access to free education for children from poor households. more than 9 million children attend no-fee schools, which is at least 80% of our schools. No child must be denied basic education because their parents are poor or diseased. We have also made progress by steadily and emphatically proving matric results. In this regard, let me once again congratulate the matric class of 2016. They have worked hard and made us proud. Compatriots, there are a number of other notable achievements we can cite that we have scored since we declared education as an apex priority in 2009. We have developed and distributed over 150 million workbooks to learners from grade R to 9 since 2009. We urge provinces where there could be a slow delivery of books this year to speed this up so that all children can have their books before the end of January. Government pays for these books. Administrators must ensure that they reach our children on time every year. We have also completed the Orientation Pakisa, Operation Pakisa in Education program, which gave us a concrete plan that will accelerate progress towards using technology in education. While we are happy with the progress made, government is also the first to concede that immense challenges still remain as we rebuild our education system. We must do more to improve learner outcomes in mathematics, physical science, accounting, and languages. More children must be encouraged to take these subjects, and more teachers must be trained to teach these subjects. The Basic Education Department is working on these matters. We must improve reading and literacy throughout our schooling system. In this regard, I call upon parents who are able to do so to read to their children and to also encourage them to read. Let us not allow television to take away the time of our children to read. Parents should control the time spent by children watching TV or television so that it does not affect their schoolwork. Importantly, as stakeholders, I urge you to work together to stem the tide of dropouts from schools. Our own analysis shows that only less than 50% of all the learners who joined our education system reach matriculation level after 12 years of learning. There are many reasons for this anomaly, mostly socio-economic reasons and social ills. Whether it's financial reasons, abuse of drugs, or other social challenges, we need to tackle them together. We must keep our youth in schools. We collectively call upon all sectors of society to play their meaningful role to keep our youth in schools. That is one of the key issues that this Lekgotla will be looking into. We also convened this Lekgotla to reflect honestly on accountability throughout the basic education system. I wish to emphasize that there must be consequences for principals and school management teams who recorded a 0% pass rate. We must not allow any room in the public service for inaptitude and incompetence. Everyone must strive for excellence, more so in education. Now, as you heard, I never went to a single school. No teacher can claim ever saw my forehead in a class, because I never went there. But when I hear there is a school that only produces 0%, I always ask my question, from January to November, what were they doing? Really? Every day standing in front of the kids, what were they doing? That's why I'm saying, at least there must be some consequences. If I'm a teacher, no single child passes. And since that time, I've been working, being paid, which means I'm being paid for doing nothing, really. So that's why I'm saying there must be some consequences if that happens. Partly because education is the key for development. Without education, no nation will ever develop at a rate at which things are done in the modern world. Countries that are called developing countries will never cross the line and become developed without modern education. Countries that invested in education, they don't regret after a few decades. In fact, any country that invests in education is investing wisely. It's a national investment that will never go wrong, because you begin not only to produce job seekers, but actually you begin to produce job creators. So it is important that we cannot stand and allow schools that have zero outcome. It means they don't understand the simple logic that education is what makes us grow. therefore be one of the countries in the community of countries in the world who makes a contribution towards development of society. I urge this meeting to pay special attention and develop concrete plans to attend to whatever problems that exist in the underperforming districts, provinces, and schools. Let us attend to shortcomings and ensure that we continue improving performance in education. We have no choice but to succeed as a country, particularly a country, South Africa, which has a task that we may understand and not understand to perform in the continent. Many countries in the continent look up to South Africa to participate at the head of the development of the continent. Education is our only weapon towards prosperity. Director of the program, in conclusion, as government, we appreciate and acknowledge the positive contribution of our dedicated teachers and teacher unions, corporate South Africa, NGOs, principals, associations, SGB associations, learner formations, and civil society as a whole. Working together, we shall ensure that our schools produce learners who are well equipped to help us build inclusive growth and prosperity when they graduate. I wish you all the best in your deliberations in this important Lekgotla. I thank you.